So we're here at the Slidell Bishop Storehouse. This is a command center. This is Hurricane Ida. We are in week number 4. And where we're at right now is Roberts Road, and we have teams that are down the road at the Slidell kind of park area. And this is where the cars and the trucks would come in, the teams. This is our communication or our traffic director. Is that your title?
I guess so.
Traffic director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go this way, that way.
Yeah. So she welcomes people to the command center.
Welcome. Come this way.
So as teams come in, usually in trucks, but different cars and stuff. We bring them to this area and they register.
Like start breastfeeding a 6-year-old.
Bishop, I'm going to have you explain. Tell me what you do and tell me what this group does.
Oh, I'm Bishop Fox from the Mandeville Ward, and this is our command center here. This is our check-in. So when people pull up, we ask who the team captain is, and we have them fill out some paperwork. And these fine people sign them in and register them, and then pass them down over here to get a work order so they know where they're going.
Actually, work order packets. So we
Work
get,
order packet.
you get 6 of them, or sometimes 10 at a time, so you know what they're going to.
And then we send them right down here.
Now, this week we have 9 stakes that have been assigned to the Slidell Command Center. So you can see the 9. We're hoping for 537, but not sure we'll get it this week. So here we also do some training, chainsaw training, so they can get certified before we hand them out a chainsaw.
That's right. That's right. We ask if they see in the church videos that for chainsaw safety and being a team captain, and most of them have. So if they haven't, they sit down right here.
Now, Bishop Fox has been out on the groups. Tell me what it's like to be part of a team.
Oh, it's awesome. So when we get to the house, we meet the people. We usually have a prayer beforehand with just our immediate group. And then when we talk to the homeowner, we ask them what they need. And usually it's right there. It's either mucking or gutting a house or removing trees, patching up a roof. And we've done mucking and gutting of a house. And we didn't even know what to do. We came in and this lady's house was completely just trashed, but it was dry. I could smell mildew in the house. We'd make sure we put on our N95 masks, and we had to figure out, we cut a hole about 2 feet up in the drywall, but we realized drywall goes about 4 feet up. That's what I learned. And so if you find that seam, we just ripped it all the way down, and it just comes right off. Took out the baseboards, all the trim around the doors, and we hauled it out with these cool sleighs that you use for snow. And then we piled up all the stuff on the curb for the trash men to come and get later. And then we leave the whole house immaculate, basically pulled the floors, we took out the kitchen counters, everything like that, dishwasher, and everything that could have water in about 2 to 3 feet up. And so that would take care of that for the people, so then the insurance company could be called and they could come right in and then take care of the repairs. Otherwise they'd have to wait a long time.
So the muck out is a big part of it. Tarping is also a big part, especially when you have wind, high winds, and Ida seemed to do a good job at ripping roofs off.
Correct. We didn't go on any of those, but I saw some gentlemen there telling me that to get up there and tarp the roof so none of the rain could come in. But those shingles get ripped off, and
a lot of tree work.
I mean, a lot of tree work.
Yeah.
So my first counselor went to his backyard, and the tree had fallen over, and miraculously, when it pulled up the earth, it came about 2 inches from his master bedroom window. But that tree laid across the entire backyard, went through his shed. And so we take down all the branches off the sides first, and then somebody's got to really watch, because once you start cutting it up, everything falls down. You got to watch that the weight doesn't crush somebody or roll off and land on something else or roll through a fence. But we drag the branches out to the front, then we leave the heavy logs there, and if we can get a group with a bobcat, they come in and they take those huge logs and take them out for the people. But
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
Bishop, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So this is the command center, so they come here to register. This has been good. So it kind of tells people step by step what. These are the 2 tables that deal with work orders. So Tracy, you want to explain what you do here?
So we are the work order center, our 2 tables. So we before we ever start the command center, we collect work orders. We batch them in groups of anywhere from 6 to 10 per team that tries to get them through the weekend. And then, so we work with a spreadsheet and crisis cleanup together to keep track of what work orders we give what teams. So that is what we do here at the work order part. So we collect the work orders, we put them in a spreadsheet, that way we keep up with who has them, like which teams have them. And then at the end of the day, they report back to us. We close out those on the spreadsheet. We also close them out in crisis cleanup. So that's that part.
All right. So then they pick up their supplies. It's ideal that you have two lanes, two ways trucks can come in and out. Slidell, we only have one lane, but it's working this morning. But sometimes it can get backed up. So porta potties, places to wash your hands, a big part of the command center, very important. So this is where they pick up their shirts. So this is the first part. We've got shirts, we've got gloves, and we got missionaries. These young people are amazing. So they are here every weekend. They do a great job behind the scenes. They've been wonderful. Thoughts? So this is just a little video clip.
Yeah.
Explain to her kind of your role and how you feel about what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's been super cool. So basically what we do is all the teams that come in, they come through here and we get them all their supplies and their shirts and everything that they need. And the best part is seeing like the people from all over the place. Like they come from everywhere and they just like are here to serve and help, and it's super cool.
It's been really touching to me to see how many people want to and then actually do mobilize to like help people they don't know. That's so special. But yeah, they show us their supply form, and then we go down the row and we get them all the different stuff that they need for the different jobs they have. And I totally agree with Sister Wheatley. It's super cool to meet people from all over. We've met people from like neighboring states, but also like other countries. It's so neat. It's been cool.
So what advice would you give another group of missionaries that are helping with this? What have you found works? What doesn't work? What can we do to make it better?
Definitely, I mean, at least for me, like when people show up and say like, I need this many shirts, it was a lot easier once we like, because the boxes are labeled but not in like big letters, so we just wrote on them really big all like the sizes and details, so that it's easy for us when it like gets busy and crowded to grab exactly what we need.
And do your best to keep it organized, because you have to put it back at the end of the day. So it sucks to have to organize everything and then put it back. So everything gets busy and it's hard to keep everything organized, but the more that you like try to be like, okay, like take 10 seconds to make sure this is stacked right, it helps at the end of the day.
Because we take inventory at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to make sure what we have on hand, so what we bring in the following week, accuracy is a big
And
deal.
ask everybody that you can where they're from.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Keep a smile on your face. They just drove like 8 to 9 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome them in.
So make
Some
it
of
a
them
good
are kind of grumpy,
Yes.
experience.
so
Yeah, some of them are kind of
some of them
tired.
are kind of tired, kind of
slack.
grumpy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So we've got Tyvek's, we've got boots here for mucking out houses. More missionaries, young men. There we go.
How's it going?
So good scoop shovels for cleaning out a home.
done. We can go to work.
And this is great that he showed up. So we're doing a little video.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So President Dome, Brother Dome, tell us just some thoughts about command centers. What works? What have you found? What's been your experience?
Have a good day.
Yeah, what works is having as many volunteers as you possibly can, right? So we have people that are pre-positioned out here helping us with the yard. These are people that really understand the operations of the command center from the material standpoint, what materials are needed so that they can go out and do the work. Everything from gloves and boots to shovels and nails, tarps, food boxes, wheelbarrows, everything you can imagine. And chainsaws, of course, on the end. And that takes a lot of time to make sure that people are safety trained and have that skill. And of course, I don't know if you've seen the command center portion over here with the administrative piece. And that's where they're getting their work orders, right? And so we have to have volunteers for that as well.
So how you've set up the supply lane, whatever, what are some thoughts about why you have what you have, where you have it?
Okay. So we want to make sure that people have the yellow vest, right? Designating that they're helping hands. They get that on the front end. And we have our missionaries helping us with that, as well as other members. But everything is set up here in sort of an organized way, so that when they're coming through, the first things they're gathering are things that they would wear, right? Put on themselves, on their bodies. And then the next things are hand tools, all related to that. And then they're grabbing things like the tarps. They're all together. So the furring strips that they would use to be able to tarp a roof, that's there. And then we start looking at things that they would use to be able to do a muck out, where they're going to be cutting sheetrock and hauling that out. So they need the sleds. If you see down here, you'll see these black sleds. They have a pull cord on the front of them, and they can load those up and then drag them to the curb out front. And then wheelbarrows next to that. And then on the other side of that, we have the items that they're actually going to give to the homeowners, right? Cleaning kits and hygiene kits and food boxes to help them, right? Clean up their homes, but also have some food for subsistence for themselves.
So who puts together the food boxes?
So we put the food boxes together at the Bishop storehouses, and those are organized by wards and stakes that will come in and prepare those. They have to be built. Those kits have to be built.
Okay. But to give a family a food box, that's a pretty nice little gift.
It is a gift. Well, and so when you think about the situation that we're going through, a lot of people don't have power restored yet, right?
Yeah.
So their refrigerator isn't working. So all of those food boxes are filled with items that are dry items, or they're items that can be shelf stable. They don't require refrigeration.
Yeah, that's awesome. President, thank you.
No, you're welcome.
So here we can see even hand trucks to move trees, heavy stuff. Tarps, fur strips. These are the sleds that President Dome talked about. Much easier sometimes than a wheelbarrow, because you have to pull it over drywall and debris and things like that. But the church has a lot of supplies to help in this effort. So here's your water, and we have hygiene kits that have been put together, the food boxes that were talked about. Some of the most precious commodities is water, because oftentimes hurricanes disrupt that whole supply. The cleaning kits, so we can leave one of these in those homes. That you muck out a home, and sometimes there's mold and things that leave it there. So safety equipment, we have our model right there, putting on champ. We've got all the helmets and face shields and things like that people need. But here, the chainsaws are at the end of the process. Probably the most extensive part of the entire supply, and that's the maintenance and the training and everything.
No, the general door. Oh, I don't remember. It's
So Brian,
hey,
we're putting together just a real basic video.
nice.
So explain a little bit about your role as kind of the supply director.
Yeah, so we just making sure that we've got all the supplies out here that the teams need. Once they get their work orders, they come over here and they get all of the supplies for doing the roofing work, tree work, muck out jobs, chainsaw work. Each station is manned by people that are trained to know what we're doing here, and yeah, we've got guys that are trained in chainsaws and the equipment and getting these things handed out and making sure that people are safe with them. Got people that are in charge of making sure that the teams have what they need all along the way, and in this case it's been a lot of the missionaries here, and so it's runs like clockwork. So.
Yeah, so what helps it make it run like clockwork? What have you found? What are some good best practices? So if someone in another stake is doing your role,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them?
Just it's ideal to have the people, someone that has been through it before. Once you've been through a command center once, you kind of know what it's supposed to look like and understand what the process is. If you've never been through something like this before, then it's just a matter of being as flexible as you can and understanding the needs of the teams. What is it they're going to need, and making sure that those supplies are there, and then making sure that we're not giving out too many supplies to those earlier teams, so we make sure we have enough along the way. And so again, a lot of it is just the training and knowing how fast and how much to give out in a lot of these groups, and then just being able to meet their needs. Big piece of it is just the flexibility.
So how many teams come kind of already prepared, kind of self-sustaining versus teams that go, wow, we need everything?
You know, mix of everything.
Okay.
The ones that have been through command centers before, a lot of them will bring their own saws, a lot of rakes, shovels, hammers, some nails. A lot of guys that bring their own chainsaws have their own fuel and things like that. Then we've got just good-hearted people that are wanting to help.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are coming down with their families, that are being asked by elders quorum, bishop, relief society presidents, and they show up. And these are the ones that we're supplying pretty much everything on.
So
Every stake is given a list of the things that to bring. It's ideal when they do that. If they do have their own rigs and their own equipment and things like that, yeah, again, like we talked about, we recognize that if they do that, they run the risk of damaging their own equipment and things like that. And so we appreciate their sacrifice if they do that, and that's great. But we do have the supplies there for those that want to get those supplies from us. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Garbage control is a big deal, so we have the dumpsters that are here, and the tents, right? And like I mentioned, we have a park that the city of Slidell has allowed us to use during this. But a lot of people are camping out. Anyway, it's wonderful. So, like I mentioned, this is the Slidell warehouse, and I'll just give you an idea of what's in here. So each week, supplies are ordered, and from Tucker, Georgia in this case, and they'll just bring in pallets of whatever's needed. So there's some hygiene kits and more sleds and food and trucks and a whole host. Here's some chainsaws that came in. We got water. But it's amazing how the church is organized and how prepared.
We got furring strips, but I don't know if you can get them into this truck.
How many pairs of boots?
I want to see if I can bug you for a minute. Okay, so we're going to, anyway, we have, to me, a special guest. And this is President Garrett, been a stake president, temple president, and he's been doing this for many, many years. And so the question we have is the impact that these type of events or the service that's rendered, the impact it's had upon the saints in this area. And I'll just let you take it from there.
Well, that's a good question. We've been doing this for a lot of years, and as you know, we've been very, very busy here in the southeastern part of the United States with all the different hurricanes and tornadoes and floodings that we've had over the past few years. And even though the people, the members are getting weary with the helping hands, it also is a time to where it brings people together. And then through the true fellowship of Jesus Christ and spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, through fellowship and through helping out our brethren and sisters and in the communities, it's been a great thing to bring us together as in wards and branches, and also to let people know that we are true Christians and that we help each other out in time of need. And so it's a great blessing not only to the members of the church that knit us together, but it also knits us together with the community as a vital resource to the community, as people that are willing to help and be a true brother's keeper.
Thank you. That's great. You know, one of the things we haven't talked about is a big part, and that's food. You know, we need to feed people, and so we have a food director. And I'm sure other command centers are not quite set up like this, but we have a kitchen and people that come in and fix the food, and it's been great. Well, I think that probably wraps it up. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you.